Ken. This is Ken Kraetzer for Talking Business by Ken Kraetzer and the Marketing Club of New York, a 98-year-old trade group in New York City. And we have our Silver Apples Award dinner coming up, an award ceremony on November 7th, 40th edition. We have a chance to talk with one of the honorees, and that is Paul A. McDonnough of American Express, where he is a manager of global events and account management. Paul, great to see you. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Ken. How are you? Pleasure to be here to have a conversation with you today.
Well, good to see you. You are so well known and well respected within the marketing trade in New York. Everyone was delighted that you were nominated for this award and going to receive it on November 7th with a very distinguished list of honorees at the Hard Rock Cafe right in Times Square.
Yes, sir.
Exciting
Looking
area.
forward to that.
And tell us, what was it like to just learn that you were going to be an honoree at the event?
I was surprised. I went into the humbled and just grateful for the recognition. When you look at the luminaries and the honorees who've been there, the Stan Rapps of the world and Bruce Beagles and a number of other folks that have really shaped what we know as modern marketing and marketing in general, who've been game changers to the industry. Um, I became sort of overwhelmed with emotion. And just really, really grateful for this opportunity because I've spent a good amount of like 30 plus years in this industry, but specifically in events marketing and building compelling stories through my conferences and the work that I do. So I was incredibly moved, honored, and I'm looking forward to an amazing opportunity on November 7th to be with my peers, my friends, and family to accept this award.
Paul, tell us a little bit about many of us met you when you were with the Direct Marketing Association,
Yes,
a trade association. Many of us grew up in our careers in.
yes,
Remember when it was the Direct Mail Marketing Association and they changed the name to Direct Marketing.
yes.
Lasted 100 years, and then it left. It couldn't continue. Tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about. It was a great organization, and
Yes.
what happened.
Yeah, it was a wonderful organization. I spent 13 years of my career there, leading the conference and events arm of DMA. And we did so much. That's where I grew up in the event marketing space. I grew up in the conference and event space at the DMA because I had the ability to sort of come in and create compelling and engaging content for our constituencies, for our communities across the direct marketing landscape. We saw the phase and from the phrases and the terms of multi-channel marketing to digital marketing to where we are today. Many of the leaders in organizations today, like the MMA and a number of other of the more sort of social media or digital media entities that are out there, organizations, came from the DMA family. The folks that helped me learn more about the industry came from my years at the DMA family. The leaders, the innovators, the trailblazers, the Stan Rapps of the world. Those are the individuals who help craft my story, who helped craft my career, and who helped me get to where I am today. At the end of the day, we also, being one of the largest marketing organizations out there, were too slow to change. And I think that's where we missed the mark. There are many opportunities that we had to sort of change the paradigm, to change the narrative, to become more modern in the way that we told the story of where marketing was going. And that ultimately led to where we are today, where the data and now, or at least at the end, the Data and Digital Marketing Association became part of the ANA.
Well, we all miss it. They used to have those great conventions and Chicago or Los
Yeah,
Angeles or LA or
yeah, yeah.
Boston with
Yeah, and
20,000.
we had some of the amazing thought leaders that hit the stage, from Richard Branson to Kobe Bryant to Magic Johnson, great storytellers, marketers themselves, but I like to call them storytellers, content creators. You know, we were one of the first ones. Not the creators on TikTok, but we were one of the first ones to use the term content creation in what we were doing in creating these compelling stories through our meetings and events and our conferences at the DMA.
And Paul, you've that's been kind of the theme of your career is finding innovative ways to tell stories, to
Yes, very much
get
so.
the message out, describe concepts, certainly the changes that are going on. How did you develop, kind of that theme of storytelling?
Yeah, you know, I would say I've always been someone who um, likes to tell stories. From back in my high school days, in my English classes, when I had to write essays after essays after essays, I always, I read a lot of different types of books, history, business, fiction, nonfiction, and there's some great stories that you get, especially from historical books, historical perspectives, and meeting people. You know, I travel a lot. I travel the world a lot, more so now than when I was in my younger years, but my travels enable me to meet interesting and inspirational individuals from all walks of life, from the business world to education to the arts. And out of those interactions and engagements with folks comes the stories that I share on the stage, that I infuse into the content that I'm building in a general session, in a trade show, in a board meeting. The look, the feel of what I see in the world is what I like to bring back to my everyday professional life in building the stories that are told. And I think that's one of that's always been sort of part of my DNA, and what I look to sort of infuse in the content, but also the people that work for me, the people that work on my teams that help me build the stories that create the compelling content and the moments that matter.
Very good. And Paul, tell us a little bit about coming out of the University of Miami,
Yeah,
Hurricane.
yeah, that's
You're
a
a big
story in of
college
itself.
football fan. And
Yeah,
some of your early experiences, Students for America, you were executive
yeah,
director, Institute for
sure.
International Research, Next 365, KNext 365.
Yeah, yeah. So, Ken, when I was in college, I was a business major, finance and poli sci minor. Never in a million years would I have thought, I should say, that I would be producing conferences and meetings and events or trade shows. Never thought of it. But here's how I got into that. And, while I was at the University of Miami, great 4.5 years of education, of camaraderie. You can't beat going to Miami, being a guy from New York in the cold weather. You've got that warm Florida sun year round, right? And the whole hoopla behind the athletics programs down there, the swagger of the U, as they call it. I loved every minute of it. But when I left the University of Miami, I was also at the University of Miami. I was also very, very involved deeply with politics. And I saw myself either going into one of two avenues, either the business world, finance, or into the political world. I left the University of Miami. I moved to North Carolina, and I was involved with a couple of political campaigns where I headed up an organization called Students for America, which was a grassroots organization on college campuses, about 25 college campuses across America, and I was the executive director in Raleigh, North Carolina for that organization. Did that for 2 years, and then I yearned for more as I wanted to come back to New York eventually. And I did that. I had a friend that worked at the Institute for International Research, which also turned over the years into Connect 365. He was a conference producer within the finance space, and he says, Paul, listen, I think that you would love this for several reasons. One, you've got the background and the knowledge of the finance world, but also number two, you love to travel. And this company allows you the opportunities because these conferences are happening all over America, all over the world. And you as the producer building these shows, go to these events. You're going to meet some amazing individuals. You're going to build your network, your Rolodex. At the time, we still had Rolodexes.
I still do.
And not LinkedIn, and not LinkedIn. But you're going to build your base and you're going to build your network. And how could I pass that up? Coming back to New York, I got involved with it. I was there for 9 years. And then got the itch to do my own thing in the meetings and events space. I started a company called P&T Enterprise with an old college buddy of mine, and we had a few clients where we produced their corporate meetings, board meetings, sales conferences, and still I wanted more. Still I wanted more. Running a business at a very young age with just two individuals doing all of the marketing, the content curation, the logistics operations is very, very tough. So I did that for about 2.5 years and then decided I'm going to jump back into space. And I got connected with the Direct Marketing Association, and realized then and there that that's my home. That industry is where I belong, and where it's a great fit for a storyteller like myself. And I did that for 13 years, man. And at the end of the DMA days, I moved on, and year after that, got connected with American Express, who were looking to bring in someone from the outside of their organization that could develop these compelling stories, but also could lead, could bring in a new, fresh way of looking at developing these meetings and events and building a base. And I've been here for 6 years now, and love every minute of it. It's different from the association world and from the other organizations where I was running meeting and events organization, because it's more corporate based. Where they are our clients, these Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies are our clients, more so than members. But I love every minute of it. And I've got a great team of professionals that work underneath me in my organization.
And tell us, if you would, about some of the mentors that you've had, people have helped you along the way of your journey.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the, and I'm going to go back a little bit. There's a few folks, they've been involved with the Marketing Club of New York, with the DMA, Bruce Beagle, being one of my biggest advocates, a friend, mentor, Stan Rapp. He taught me a lot about integrated marketing and moving, work with me to try to move the organization in a more modern, current mode. He and I worked to create Integrated Marketing Week at the DMA. Um, and I love the man, and he taught me so much. Tim Souther, as well, former Axiom leader and executive in the data space, has been one of my mentor. Lou Mastria, as well. I've learned from him quite a bit with the Digital Advertising Alliance, and just a number of individuals within the marketing space, the marketing community, have taught me so much along the way of how to be a leader, um, how to communicate effectively, how to connect, how to continue to build the stories, and the moments. And have just given me opportunities, along my career, and I still got many more miles to walk and to go before this is done. And I'm meeting, amazing individuals along my journey, even today, and globally as well. Michael Bramsis, he's a Dane marketing leader who was always very supportive with his efforts. And even though I don't see him, I get inspiration from when we have our conversations and our talks. And I just, take a lot of the lessons that he's taught me along the way as well.
And Paul, maybe a final question. What are you most proud of in your career? And is it possibly a volunteer project that you contributed to?
Yeah, so what am I proud of along the way? I am proud of the fact that I never give up. I learn from those mistakes. I bounce back. I recalibrate. Um, and I'm an effective communicator. I've been effectively communicating across my career, and it brings results. And I'm incredibly proud of that. I'm incredibly proud of the individuals who look to me as a mentor, because of how effective my skills have been. From a volunteer perspective, one of the um, and I'll say this in a current sense. You may see this Black Engagement Network little logo here at the bottom of my. I'm very involved to ensure that my community understands the business world, that they understand um, how we together can move forward. I'm a volunteer leader, a global leader for the Black Engagement Network here at American Express, and I'm very involved with my community. To educate, to advocate, and to enlighten them, especially the younger folks, because I believe that in order for our community to move forward, they need to learn very early in life financial responsibility, being good, what it means to be a good citizen, to give back to your community, to help help lift someone forward. So I try to get involved with a lot of those causes because it's very important to me. A legacy needs to be left for my community in order for it to continue to strive and thrive.
Well, Paul A. McDonnough, great to chat with you. You're going to be an honoree of the Marketing Club of New York, November 7th at the Silver Apples Award Dinner, our 40th annual. And looking forward to that. Any final thought for us today?
Ken, I want to say to you personally, over the years that I've known you, my friend, you've given me the opportunity to speak up, to speak out, to continue connecting with the world. And I appreciate you. And I appreciate you for what you're doing for the Marketing Club of New York and for this big evening. I want to thank the people who at the organization at the Marketing Club of New York who nominated me, who believed in me, who believed that I made a difference, and I can continue to make a difference. And I want to be so grateful and thankful to those leaders and members who have provided me with this opportunity.
Well, Paul, we're all looking forward to seeing you November 7th at the Hard Rock Cafe. Uh, People would like to join you can sign up at the Marketing Club of New York website. I know you got a lot of friends who'll join you,
Yep.
family, and looking forward to that. And we're, I know you're a very proud University of Miami Hurricane.
Go Canes.
Watching the college football season very closely, so we'll look forward chatting more on that. But thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us today. And
Excellent.
this is Ken Kraetzer for Talking Business and the Marketing Club of New York, a 98-year-old trade group, proud of serving the marketing community now as Marketing Club of New York. We'll see you on November 7th at the Hard Rock Cafe. Thanks for joining us.